Hello and welcome to the career simulation of Daniil Boot. Anyway, let's go. To start off his career, Daniil would be playing on the first line of the Gatineau Olympiques and in his first season would score 70 points in 68 games. Gatineau would miss the playoffs, finishing 14th. Moving on in the draft lottery, the Blackhawks and the Sabres have the best odds at the first overall pick. After the lottery, Anaheim and Montreal receive number 1 and 2. In the draft, the Flames would select Boot with the 22nd overall pick. He is also a 65 and at the end of the re-sign phase Boot would not receive a rookie contract and is also now a 68. Boot would only play 36 games in Gatineau, but he would score 54 points on his shortened season. Gatineau would finish 4th in the league and would make the playoffs. In the second round, the Huskies would eliminate Gatineau in 5 games. In 10 playoff games, Boot would score 8 points. In year 2, Boot would finally receive his rookie contract worth $903,000 and is now a 71 and is also still playing in Gatineau. Boot would play 61 games with 99 points on the season. Gatineau would finish 4th again. The Olympiques would be upset again as the Moncton Wildcats would eliminate Gatineau in 6 games. In 10 playoff games, Boot would score an impressive 18 points. He is also now a 77 and now will be playing for the Stockton Heat, which should be the Calgary Wranglers, but we are worried about Daniil Boot, not the Wranglers. Boot would only play 20 AHL games with the Heat and in those 20 games would put up 24 points in his AHL rookie season. Stockton would sadly finish 27th in the league and would miss the playoffs obviously. In the final year of his rookie contract, Boot is now an 81 and will also be playing on the 4th left wing line. In a full rookie season, Boot would score 34 points on the season. The Flames finished 16th and made the playoffs as well. In the first round, the 1-seed Ducks would eliminate Boot and the Flames in 5 games, and in those 5 games Boot would score 2 points. After Boot's rookie contract was up, the Flames were not able to afford him and Boot would be heading into free agency for the first time. Boot is now an 85, but no one would pick him up as he has no contract. Never mind though, as the Islanders would give Oliver Bonka 1 year for $2.8 million. In his first season with his new team, Boot would play a full season with 50 points on the season. The Islanders are off to a better start, slowly though, finishing 15th in the league. In the playoffs though, still an unfortunate turn of events, as in the first round the Rangers would eliminate the Islanders in 5 games and in those 5 games Boot would score 2 points again. Boot would re-sign with the Islanders again, this time for 2 years worth $5.3 million. He is also still an 85 overall. Boot would play another full season with 57 points on the season. The Islanders would finish 29th in the league and would very unfortunately miss the playoffs. Daniil is now waiver eligible, by the way, and he is still an 85. Boot would play 67 games and in those 67 games would score 29 points. The Islanders finished 26th in the league. Daniil would go down to an 84 overall but would sign with the Islanders again, this time on a 3-year deal for $5 million. Also, he is an 86 now. In 71 games, Boot put up 54 points. The Islanders would also finish 13th in the league. Once again in the first round, the Islanders would be eliminated, this time to the Jackets in a sweep. Boot could not play a game in the playoffs due to a leg injury, which would also make him miss out on half of the next season as well. He is still an 86. In 64 games, Boot would put up 50 points. The Islanders would finish 27th and miss the playoffs. In what could be his final year with the Islanders, he is still an 86 as always. Boot would play a full season this year and would put up a new career high, scoring 67 points. The Islanders would miss out on the playoffs as they finished 18th in the NHL. Boot would not leave the Islanders as they would give him a 5-year for $6.3 million. Still an 86 as usual. In a whole 82-game season, Boot would score 59 points on the season. The Islanders would finish 24th in the league, unsurprisingly missing the playoffs. Boot is still an 86. Boot would score 55 points in a full 82-game season as well. The Islanders would finally make the playoffs, placing 16th. In the second round of the playoffs, the Islanders would be taken down by the Capitals in 5 games. In 9 playoff games, Boot would score 5 points. Now in his 30s, Boot is still an 86. In 80 games, Boot would score 70 points. The Islanders would make the playoffs, finishing 14th in the first round. The Lightning would eliminate the Islanders in 5 games. Boot would reach his actual maximum potential as an 87 overall. Boot would put up a new career high with 85 points on a full 82-game season. But the Islanders would miss the playoffs, finishing 30th. In his last year of his contract, he is still an 87 overall. At the trade deadline, Boot would be traded to the Canucks and would put up 59 points with both teams playing 69 games on the season. Here is the trade details. Pause to read if you'd like. The Canucks would finish 7th in the league and would make the playoffs. In the first round, the Sharks would eliminate the Nucks in 6 games as Boot sees more disappointment in the first round of the playoffs. In 6 games, Boot would score 5 points on the playoffs. Boot would sign a 4-year deal with the Canucks for $7.8 million and is back down to an 86. Boot would play a whole season this time and would score 69 points on the season. Vancouver would finish 10th in the league. In the Cup final, the Ducks would eliminate the Canucks in a 6-game series. In 25 playoff games, Boot would score 18 points. Boot is down to an 84. In a whole season, Boot would score 40 points. Also, Daniil Boot would win a World Cup with Russia as well, with 3 goals for 3 points in 7 international games. The Canucks would finish 15th and would miss the playoffs. Boot is now down to an 80. Boot would only pick up 13 points in a whole season. Vancouver would sneak into the playoffs, finishing 17th in the first round, though the eventual Stanley Cup champions Vegas Golden Knights would eliminate the Canucks in 7. In 7 games, Boot would score a goose egg 0 points on the playoffs. In what could be his last year in the NHL, he is now a 77. Boot would only play 2 games this whole season, all with Vancouver scoring 1 point. Vancouver missed the playoffs as well, finishing 22nd. Boot would retire at the age of 37 years old. Here are his stats. Pause to read if you'd like. That's it for the Daniil Boot career simulation. Hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.